QQQ update here on the 30th. I'll probably do a pretty decent amount of stocks. The market's not really doing that much. So QQQ, nice move down today. Good thing is, well, what happened today is it broke below this demand zone right here. I had this in the last video I did. So we had a demand zone right here. So I was looking for a potential bounce out of there. Nope, went right through it. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. I don't see any other good demand zones down there. So what do we default to when the demand zone breaks? Can't talk. Demand zone breaks here. You look at the moving averages. So we have the 50 down here at 510. We have the 20 at 524. So now I'm just watching those. And I had some puts still holding a little bit just in case they're far out. But as long as we hold the 50, this is completely fine. If we close above the 50 today, that's completely fine. We're probably going to close above the 50. I don't think it's going to go below 510 now. But I want to see us break above the 20 DMA to signify that we are going to go up here to this supply zone up here that starts at 531 to 537. So overall, this had a chance, and it still could. If you look at the timing of this, this took 3 days down, 7 or 6 days up. It's about 10 days, so I would expect 4 or 5 days down. So it could still do this tomorrow. I'm not saying it's 100%, but it could do this. Down here to 500. That's possible. Just because of the fact that this is probably going to end in the next day or two, maybe even tomorrow morning. That would be a pretty big dump tomorrow. So then, if you're thinking about it logically, that's probably not going to happen. But it's possible. And the second reason why that's probably not going to happen is we're holding the 50. If we finish above the 50, it's probably not going to dump below the 50 and continue to run below the 50. So if that scenario is out the window, then what is this? This is likely ABC, some kind of ABC move. This right here was an ABC move as well, up right here. So that means that this is an impulse right here. This was A. This is probably B. What does that mean? We're probably going to get a C wave back up here. This made a higher low. So we're probably going to get a higher high of this into the supply zone somewhere between 533 and 535. And then that would complete the overall B wave. So there you go. That's the most likely scenario I see. And I would expect that to end probably in the next, maybe by the end of the week, I would say. End of the week makes a lot of sense, or maybe early next week up here. Based off that, though, we still would have to have another impulse down. So after that, we would have to get this down. That impulse down would have to go to 491 or just down here to, depending on how high this goes, I'd be looking at potentially 505 to 491. Somewhere in that range for this to end. Could it be a 5-wave move down? It can be a 5-wave move down too. Because remember, we finished WXY. So this technically could be like that as well. If that happens, then this whole thing would be finished. A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C wave. Or we get A, B, C down here to wherever, and then we go to new highs. Then we go A, B, C like that, and then we dump. I still don't think this is an impulse move. So if this happens, then I would still be looking for something like that afterwards to make this an ABC move. A, B, C. So, yeah, that doesn't really matter though. The farther out stuff doesn't really matter. Just follow the short-term time frames. We're just looking for, are we going to go lower tomorrow? Probably not. We're above the 50. The most likely scenario is we go up here to 533. So that's all we need to focus on right now, and that could happen by the end of the week. So I'm pretty bullish going into the end of the week, unless that unlikely move happens where it dumps. And if that happens, then the move's over with. Because then would be going up here, down here to 505, maybe down here to 495, but probably not. Probably a shorter C wave. And if that happened, I'd be very, very bullish. So that's my thoughts on QQQ. Let's go over to Tesla, and Tesla's the same chart. Same thing. We get a big impulse down. We get this ABC move. This kind of looks like an impulse to me. So maybe it does dump tomorrow, and maybe QQQ dumps tomorrow too. But it's in demand, and it held the demand zone so far. So unlike QQQ, it held demand. QQQ is bouncing. So it's very possible that Tesla as well comes up here and then dumps. At some point, I think it's got to dump back down to 400, but it's just a matter of, is it right here or is it going to bounce first? So on Tesla, the key is holding we got to hold the 20. 20 is at 416. So if it holds 416, then it can bounce back up here. There's a gap up here at 452. Maybe it just goes back to the gap at 452. If it loses that tomorrow, similar to QQQ, then it can continue down here and finish its C wave. Same thing here. If it loses the 50, it can finish the C wave. But I really don't want to see Tesla lose 415. Otherwise, yeah, it can come down here to 400. It could go much lower than that. It could go all the way down to 376. And then you have the 50 down here. But again, I'm leaning towards the upside. It held the 20. It's in demand. More than likely, this is going to go like that. So, again, I don't think this is a C wave on either QQQ or Tesla. I think we're going to get one more move higher, and then we're going to sell off after that. AMD, I did a video over the weekend. You can just look at that if you're wondering what's going to happen here. A lot of different scenarios here. It's probably, based on what I see, it's probably going to do something like this. And then eventually, after this bottoms, we'll probably get that move up. So it's probably going to be chop and down. A little bit upside, maybe into the end of the week, and then chop and down. And then take off. Coin. I had this going to 240. It hit 247. I'm not sure if it's finished yet or not. Could have been finished already. The reason I have it going lower, looks like it might have one more move lower, is because I have this as the fourth wave now. So we have A, B, C wave can go max 237. So yeah, it's in demand. I think this is the fourth wave. Zoom out here, you have 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Complete the third wave up here. And then pull back and then another move higher after that. So coin is a buy here, in my opinion. Mara, these miners are absolutely terrible, but we already knew that. Probably going to bounce short term with the market. Back up here, maybe fill this gap at 1840. But I think it's only in a fourth wave. And I think it's going to come back down here and fill the gap at 1635. That will probably be the bottom, I would imagine. I can't imagine if this goes all the way to 12 bucks, there's going to be some lawsuits. Because Bitcoin is only... Bitcoin's like basically the exact same. So November 29th, that was at 30 bucks. Where's that at? Right here, a month ago. This was at 30 bucks, Mara was. This was at 98. Mara's lost almost 50% on this move, and Bitcoin has not even hardly moved. I know that Mara is just doing a pattern, but still at the same time, I have a few shares of Mara. I don't have that much. I have 500 shares in the low 20s, so I'm down on it too. I'm a little bit, like, I'm fine with it. I think it's going to bounce back. I think it's going to go to new highs in the future. But, I mean, this is just kind of outrageous. I know that they're trying to shake everybody out, but they don't even make it look realistic. Just straight down from 30 to 17. But anyway, if we're just taking out emotions or whatever you think logically should make sense, just strictly looking at the chart, I think this is probably going to 12 bucks. So I think it's going to go potentially down here to 16, probably bounce with the market, and then fall. Actually, you know what? Take that back. It's going to bottom here when QQQ ends up coming down here. So if QQQ goes like this, then Mara is going to hit 16 bucks or so. And then when the market goes like this, Mara should bounce back to like 23, 24 bucks. And then I'm expecting a bigger dump in the overall market. And then that's when Mara is going to go down here to 12 bucks. That's what I see on Mara. I think a big bounce will come after about 16.40 on this one. Clean Spark's the same way, but it might be going to 6 bucks. BA, that plane crashed. It's selling off, not really that much. We'll see. Looks pretty bullish still. It's above all the moving averages, reclaiming this moving average right here. It's still bullish. NVIDIA into demand this morning and bouncing out of it. Still looking for that 160. I'm wondering if this goes up here with the market and then pulls back and then goes up to 160 and then sells off. Because again, this is following the overall market. Whenever the overall market finally dumps up here, I think that's when NVIDIA is going to go, or when the market does this, NVIDIA is going to make its C wave. So I still have this as ABC. We have A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably going back down here to low hundreds. But this is actually a bullish formation for NVIDIA. Should be going to new highs after that. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty bullish on the overall market. I think there's going to be a dump in February, March. That's going to shake out a lot of people. But then after that, I'm pretty bullish for the rest of the year, based on what I see. Uber, somebody asked me about Uber. Uber's in a buy zone right here. It's in demand. But I don't know necessarily. It could be 1 of 5 or it could be the wave 5 right here. You have to wait and see what the bounce does. I think it's good for 70 bucks at least. Somewhere in this range, 54 to 60. I'm buying this. I'm buying alt as one of my speculative plays. Reason being, if you want to gamble, it's slightly a gamble. They don't have good fundamentals. It all comes down to if their weight loss stuff is successful, maybe they get bought out. But I think this is going to 50 bucks. So up ABC, there's your second wave. This was ABC as well. Now you have A, B, C, and then you're probably going to get like that, $50. It's monthly demand, 2-month demand is here at 539. I did a starter position today. I bought 1,000 shares. I'll probably add, if it comes down here between anywhere from $3 to $5.50, I'm adding probably at least 2,000 shares. My average would be $5 if I'm right, and it goes to 50. That's a lot of money you can make. ENPH, I'm bullish on that. Kind of sucks right now, but I'm bullish on it. I think it's going to, it could do the same thing as AMD. So it could go like this and then come back down here, maybe down all the way to $63, but eventually it's going up here to fill this gap at $90. And it should be an impulse, to be honest. If this is an impulse, it should be going to $93, pull back, potentially filling these gaps in the hundreds. I think that's pretty much it for right now. I haven't really gone over much of the other tech stocks. Apple is probably starting its move down here to 220. But maybe it has one more move higher. Could be a fourth wave. That's definitely an impulse move. So yeah, this is actually setting up for a dump. This is a 5-wave move, so we know that this is A or 1. So if the market bounces back to 533, then yeah, you're looking at a gap fill here at 255, maybe even 259. But again, just like the overall market, it's probably going to go like this. And then potentially higher. 270 was the max I saw on this. So this might be a fourth wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, so let's see where the 1.61 fib is here. It hit it perfectly. So this is likely a fourth wave, like I just said. You know, this is kind of crazy though, that if this ends up being 5 waves, then this is potentially finished. I was looking at this as potentially a B wave. So we're going to see. If it comes down here right away and doesn't make new highs, it could still be an expanded flat, A, B, C, and then go to new highs. But if it keeps on going higher here, the first wave was $92. The third wave was $74. And so this cannot go past 270. Otherwise, if it goes past 270, then that means this is an even larger wave. That would make this wave 1 of 3. I don't think that's going to happen though. So it looks like it's in a fourth wave. I'd be watching this. It's probably going to be a decent short here. And I'll probably buy some more puts like I did last week here in the next day or two around 255, 259 for the next move lower. It looks like it needs to cool off on the weekly and then can go higher one more time. So that's pretty much all I'm going to go over right now. Bitcoin, this is kind of the same pattern I see on QQQ. up here, and then down, and then new highs. So it kind of sucks. The miners are just completely manipulated. Like, if Bitcoin's going to come down here and then go to new highs, is Mara going to go, like, I think it's just going to bounce back here to 24 if Bitcoin makes new highs and then come down here. And then when Bitcoin makes its last high, I think this is going to absolutely run hard like that. Okay, that's all I got right now. Leave me a comment if you want any other stocks done. Like the video, subscribe for more updates, and I will catch you later.